discrimination in entertainment, and you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clouds. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Barretons too. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. I done fed up on the dirty water, low pressure, one scream and
Basement level vibes with another one, straight up blackness. Aye, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, we have to gather wrong, grab a seat and sit down, pay attention. Education, liberation, we have to stand strong. Benskop upon the radio, lively up the program. Everybody call somebody and let them turn and tune and on the radio and catch the boom song. We boom it up already, we have to boom it up again. Expose and reveal him. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can need it.
All right, hey, guess what? Good night. My name is Mark Benskop. It's 2026. The second day, yes, the second day of January. And look, January is going so fast that you wouldn't even believe that it was just the other day was 2025. It's 2026. Happy New Year to all of you, every single one of you. I wish you guys the best, whatever you want, whatever you pray for, whatever you ask for, whether it's wealth, whether it's health, whether it's spiritual blessings, whatever it is, whether it's cash grant. Well, forget about cash grant. You guys wouldn't get it until they're ready to tease you guys again, until they're ready to manipulate you guys again, until they're ready to brainwash you guys into believing that they really care about you. Those cash grants people. And the cash grants come in all forms, how to buy votes, how to manipulate people. You know what I mean? All right. Oh my gosh. Speaking of cash grant, what is there on? This is the economy right now in Guyana. Don't run around. Don't beat around the bush. This is the economy right now in Guyana. And it's shameful that you have a country that is supposed to be the fastest growing economy in the world. I don't know what they meant by fastest growing economy in the world. What is so fast about Guyana's economy when every single day a rampant corruption in the corrupt PPP regime? Every day we're seeing it. People are crying, people are complaining, and rightly so. Rightfully so. They are crying, they're complaining. 2025 was a lot of crying, a lot of complaining. Now we got to hope for the best in 2026, and the best can only be once you have activism, political activism, not schism, not jump out, take a photo, walk and whine and take a photo, and that's it. No, real political activism, sensible political players on the ground will do the trick that will benefit all Guyanese, not just some or individuals only fighting for themselves and saving themselves and that nonsense, you know. Anyways, hey, it's 2026, right? I'm still with my little shades, mind you. I've got to be, as much as I pray um, to be a better person, you know, I don't know if some of you prayed for me. I don't know if you did that, but thank you. All right, hey, what else is happening? The folks out in Linden, Ituni, the Region 10 area, again, the PPP regime, and it just goes to show how the PPP regime, how they treat certain kinds of people. Mind you, you remember, how many of you guys remember the Liripintier dump site and how the PPP turned and they named it Mandela dump site after Nelson Mandela, a dump site after Nelson Mandela. What if it was called Gandhi dump site? They wouldn't dare do that. Gandhi dump site. But yet for many years they named it Mandela dump site. Mandela dump site. And nobody gave a damn. They threw garbage there. People had to bury their loved ones and they couldn't walk. It was flooded. It was just nasty. It was filthy. For many years it was like that. But anyways, nobody wanted to bell the cat, right? Until one man and a subhuman. Let me see if you guys know who that one man that was able to bell the cat. One man and a subhuman. Let me see if you know who that one man was at that time that belled the cat, along with that subhuman. One man and a subhuman was able to bell the cat at the Liripintier Cemetery / dump site. One man and a subhuman said enough was enough, and that was it. One man and a subhuman. That one man and that subhuman spent 3 nights in Brickdam lockups. 3 nights. The one man stood strong, but the subhuman cried like a little baby. I want to get out of this lockup. One man, and a subhuman. Up to now, you guys are not telling me who that subhuman is that cried like a little baby. A little baby cried like a little baby. But anyways, at least the job was done, mind you. The job was done. And back in those days, nobody wanted to bell the cat, whether it's the Berbice River Bridge, whatever. Nobody wanted to bell the cat. People hardly wanted to bell the cat. Hardly wanted to bell the cat. That is why I'm saying right now, they got to get back to real political activism. Because a lot of the things you're seeing now, they were there before, they were exposed before, talked about before, addressed before, whether it's corruption, whether it's border market, filthy stuff all over the place, Stabrook Market, Linden, all of these things. Again, I say they need real foot soldiers, diehard foot soldiers, real political activists on the ground right now in Guyana. Not just Facebook activism. Facebook has its role to play, don't get me wrong. Facebook warriors, they got their role to play. Again, don't get me wrong. I'm on Facebook now, mind you, right? I used to be underground, but I'm an old man now. I can not be underground, but the fighters underground, the real fighters, not picture take a router or snap a selfie, walk around for the cameras. It's not genuine activism. Genuine activism is when you really want to bring about change for the people. Not when you're fighting against friends and Korhis and Katahars and Chamars and Chatri and Chamars and so forth and so on. And this is why I'm saying for 2026, you need real soldiers on the ground, real political soldiers on the ground. All right. Hey, what else is happening in your neck of the woods? And I spoke about the Lirapintier Cemetery and the garbage dump site and how the PPP operates. They don't care whether people get cancer, whether kids, babies are born with some sort of sickness. They don't care about that. And here's why I'm mentioning that as we go to Linden. And let me just credit this to Conan Marshall, who was underground. And right away from me, it was deja vu. Take a look in case you haven't seen it. Again, compliments of Conan Marshall.
Obstacles. Where even to the police was getting into the council business by coming to stop the toll booth checkpoint and say we are causing traffic jam. Who caused more traffic jam than the police on the Washington Road or any part of it? But there's their duty. So when the town council came out, their duty to have their revenue, it is being obstructed. I know what the security head, he was called by Mr. Glasgow to allow trucks to pass. And he said, sir, can you put that in writing for me? And trouble started. So that young man,
so what you're looking at there now is Linden. This is what they do. This is where they throw. This is where they dump the garbage. Not far from where people reside. Not far from the waters, the creeks, and these sort of things. And it, as you notice, the trucks and all these sort of things. This is the dump site. This is 2026 dump site. Compliments of the PPP regime. And for several years now, the people have been waiting to replace that dump site. Now, you're not going to see Priya Manikchan up there. You're not going to see Jack Deo up there. Well, in fact, Jack Deo and Dilip probably in the same bed. They're hiding. You're not going to see them. You're not going to see those vagabonds up there at all. You're just not going to see them. And this is what is happening. Now, that's Conan Marshall. He's doing his thing again. Thank you, Conan Marshall. But this is an issue. It's not an overnight issue. It's not something that just went there today or yesterday. It is something that the PPP created. But what Priya Manikchan did, she went to Linden. Priya Manikchan went to Linden not to address these sort of situations, not to address the concerns of the people. But Priya Manikchan went to Linden to lie. Of course, you know, she just wants to pompozette herself. But she went to Linden to lie to the people about Bamia Primary School, a primary school that going on 4 years now, or maybe 4 years now, that cannot be constructed. Almost 4 years now. Nothing at all. Absolutely nothing. But she goes up there with crocodile tears to talk about Bamia Primary School. But what she didn't say is that they have 2 new contractors. 2 new contractors. And by the time they finish building that school, it's going to cost more than what that fire service, y'all know that fire headquarters in Georgetown, almost $1 billion of your dollars given to their friends and cronies, contractors. Close to $1 billion for that fire service headquarters in Georgetown. So this now, that Bamia school is over half a billion Guyana dollars for a primary school. We'll talk about that a little more. But let's get back to our operator is going to get in touch with Dr. Vincent Adams. We want to hear a little bit about this situation here from Dr. Vincent Adams. But let's hear a little more of what Conan Marshall is talking about underground. Garbage dump site in the vicinity of where thousands of people reside in Linden.
We get other people who using this dump site. What? Now, let's show you something. This is the road. This is the road where we just used to go in at the dump site. This is the road we were supposed to be using to go in at the... What Adams there, man? Somebody, let me see. Like call Adams. Like call him, tell the league thing. Because this is bare scunt. Like Kali. Me never bluff me way.
This is you know, we have relatives, we have friends, not just relatives and friends, people, human beings are actually living not too far from this area. We have Dr. Vincent Adams here with us. Dr. Adams, good night. Happy New Year to you and your family. Sorry that I have to start you off like this, but talk to us about what we're seeing here right now. You're familiar with this. Talk to us, please.
Good night, Mark, and good night to your wonderful listeners. Yes, this here is obviously in as you already mentioned, it's Linden, and I mean it's one thing to see it in a photo pic, but it's another thing to see it in person. And I'm glad that you put things into perspective. That a dump site is not such as this is not created within a day or a year or even 5 years. When I arrived at EP in 2018 with the APNU administration, this was already there. And over the 23 years, the people.
Let me just stick a pin. And I'm glad. Sorry about that, Doc.
That's okay.
I'm glad that you've mentioned that this is not an overnight something. This was there. It was created under the PPP regime. When the coalition got into office, according to information we're hearing, this was already there. But what I'm interested now in hearing is how did you guys under the coalition handle this? I'll allow you to develop your story.
Sure. Well, as soon as it was brought to our attention, it might have been in 2019, as I recall. I myself and key staff visited the site, and we were in total shock. It was disgusting to see what this site looked like in the age of 2019 of all times, when we were getting ready now to be one of the big producers of oil in the world. So as soon as we looked at it, and Linden brought our attention, we looked at the rest of the country, and the rest of the country, it's no different. So what we did, we put a team together. As a matter of fact, the team was even led by a highly experienced Guyanese who had just retired from working over 30 years in the environmental protection in the United States, came home, and he led a team that came up with a plan as to how to address landfills. And when I say landfills, because we do not have a landfill in Guyana, what we have are dump sites in swamps and trenches, and of course we see where that is on a hill. None of it is good. It's bad, as a matter of fact. And even the Higgs Bush landfill, it's not a landfill. It should have never been approved to start with. And I've said that publicly even when I was at the EPA. But I can get into that later. So this year, what we saw in Linden, it was so bad and dangerous that we decided to look at the entire country. And there wasn't a single landfill in the entire country. Like I said, there were waste dumps that was very, very dangerous and high risk to the environment in the nation. We put a team together in collaboration with the local government ministry, and that team worked overtime to do the initial part of it, which go all around the country. They toured the entire country to assess the situation in every region, and to try and select sites to design and build new landfills. And then of course, and there was a report on that up to on the work completed. And of course, when the PPP took over, I have not heard anything of the sort. And now it's been, imagine all of this work we did after the PPP, 23 years. All of this work was done within about a year or less. It was I think it was 2019. And the PPP has been in office since 2020. Now we are almost 6 years. And instead of even getting better, it's even getting worse, because I could imagine the volume of waste that has increased in Linden, because everything goes into that landfill. And so I would have to assume that not only have they done nothing in Linden on this landfill or dump site. This is not a landfill, it's a dump site.
So, Dr. Vincent Adams, I noticed a question from someone. Can you say exactly where this is located and the proximity from where the population is actually?
Okay, it's right
distance.
For those of you who know Caro, when you come down the hill from Amelia's Ward, as soon as you come down the hill to Amelia's Ward and you enter in Mackenzie there, on the left side, you probably don't notice it because there's a gate on the left side. And if you can pass through that gate, because it's padlocked because of an issue between the town council and a lady who said that she owns the property. But anyway, that's another story. But anyway, it's on the left side. And right next to the landfill, folks, there's what is called, these lakes, these man-made lakes, where, when you excavate the bauxite, you leave these massive holes. And that was one of the areas, one of the holes where water has filled up. And there were initiatives to establish it as a recreation area for even tourism. To use the lake. As a matter of fact, I one of my, a person who I mentored, he went abroad, he studied, he has a master's degree in chemical engineering, and he was an employee at the Guyana, GWI, Guyana Water Inc. And he wanted to start up a business of recreation, canoeing and that type of stuff there. And the first thing I asked him is, okay, is the water clean or not? And of course, like I said, his background is chemistry and chemical engineer. And he tested the water and it was clean and everything else. So all of that. So here it is. The water is clean. This nice, beautiful lake and I saw it. I mean, you talk about an opportunity for a real tourist industry in that area. And here it is, right uphill from this nice, beautiful lake is this big landfill. When I was there were fires all over the place in addition to that. And when the rain falls now, Mark, when the rain falls, it just washes all of that waste into that valley next to it and into that lake. And a lot of people don't realize that garbage is the most toxic kind of waste that you would even know. Because you've got all kinds of paint, you've got all kinds of chlorine-based and material that is on your kitchen sink. everything. You throw the entire kitchen sink, so to speak, in that garbage dump. Anything, heavy metals, mercury, lead, name it. And what happens when it rains or water, that's in a sandy area, by the way. So the water will seep through the sand. It could get into your drinking water aquifers where you extract water from for your daily supply of water, or it gets into the stream, into the valley, and into the lake where people are going in there and swimming. So it's a very dangerous and unhealthy situation. But the government apparently doesn't care. To them, this is no interest. And again, folks, this is not only in Linden. This is all over Guyana. It's just that we're using Linden tonight because of Conan and Theodore Adams that have now bringing this to our attention again. And I'm so happy that they brought it up again, an issue that has been discussed that this government has been ignoring.
All right. If you're now joining us, that's the situation out there in Linden. Shame on the PPP regime. But again, I'd like the fact that you said that the coalition government attempted to address this situation. Was this dump site supposed to be moved when the coalition was in office, I'm hearing?
Yes, it would. Well, what we did, first of all, you never build, I can't have this discussion without getting back to the Higgs Bush landfill that we all claim and believe to be it's not a landfill. It does not meet the minimum requirement for any minimum standard landfill. That landfill, first of all, a landfill has to be 50 feet separated from any groundwater table, 50 feet by a highly impermeable clay, which means that no water should be able to pass through that clay. 50 feet of it from the bottom. But even above that clay, the landfill has to have like a double impermeable plastic liner that is specially designed so that nothing can penetrate through the impermeable liner. And then you put a cover on top of the liner when it's finished to make sure that there's no liquid that can seep into the dump site, because the contaminants cannot move without water. So you stop the water from getting into the landfill after the landfill is closed. And then at the bottom of the landfill, you have these double liners to protect it. And then even below the liners, you have 50 feet of clay at the minimum. Well, guess where the bottom of this landfill? First of all, there are no liners in this landfill. And secondly, it's in the bottom, it's right on top of the aquifer, the water. So there's no separation whatsoever, basically, between the bottom of this dump, as I would call it. But here's the thing that people ought to understand, that this is where Exxon is dumping all of its waste. I'm talking about millions of tons of toxic.
We'll stick a pin to that. Let's go straight to Linden. Conan Marshall is with us, also known as the highlighter. Conan, how are you doing, sir? Good night.
Quite my brother. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. We have Dr. Adams, another Lindener. And thank you so much for bringing this to the attention of the public. This is disgraceful. But describe to us, please, Mr. Marshall, when you visited this area today, what's the condition like in terms of the center and all these things?
All right. First, Mark, I want to say good night to your viewing audience. And good night, Doc. How are you tonight, brother?
Good night, Conan.
Conan Marshall, one of the highlighters from Linden. Now, really and truly, Doc, I was, and Mark, I was actually doing some live at the central of Linden, and one of the guys that working with the main town council, he told me, he said, highlighter, you need to get yourself like now up at the dump site and see what's going on up there. Well, tell you the truth, when I reach up there, I never ever, trust me, I never ever in my life ever see the dump site looking like that. You know, rubbish way down, going down a hill, up a hill, you know, and it was very, very dirty, and flies. You know what really bothers me? To know that we have concerned people. You got Sevens dumping there. You got the town council dumping there. You got another we call them about 3 or 4 different waste management dumping dumping there, and it is very hard to see. You got 4 or 5 different entity we're doing this rubbish, we do the disposal, and still of all, we got the dump site looking like, and one of the things that bothers me again is that area supposed to be a tourist site area, where I show on my page today, on my live, that the same waste, the same water that's draining off from the garbage, it is running straight in that area, straight inside the lake that people gonna go. Like tomorrow, people gonna start going there and bathe. All sorts of people coming from different places, they will be there bathing tomorrow.
That's Conan. That's the danger part. How many years people have been enduring these sort of things. Let me just quickly, before I bring back Conan, and Dr. Adams, let's bring another doctor, Dr. Anderson. He is with us, not via video though. Dr. Anderson, good night and welcome to Straight Up. I'm sure by now you saw what's happening in Linden with the dump site. From a health standpoint, talk to us, please.
Hi, Mark. Good night to you and your listeners and your guest, Dr. Adams. Good night to you, sir. Conan, good night.
Good night, brother. Good night.
So I have gone to I've gone to the dump site, but really I went to the Blue Lake. And to get to the Blue Lake, one has to pass all of that garbage. I've gone there with my family, and I was shocked and horrified at what I saw. But to your specific question, Mark, the garbage at that site is of varying descriptions and types. Much of it seems to be contained in dark plastic bags. So you really do not know the nature of every bit of garbage that you have there. You could have content that could be toxic, infectious, and so on. And so people will seize opportunity to dump dead animals, needles, and other toxic substances in that area because of the trouble that they have with solid waste disposal. And so even persons who have to handle that material are at risk for diseases that they can get through interacting with that material. Remember, you cannot see what are in those containers. Now, beyond that, you have a situation where there's an accumulation of that material, providing a microbiome that is foreign to what we would normally interact with. And therefore, it becomes infectious once contact is made without the appropriate PPEs. You have animals that will go to that area, and those animals will interact with that material, carrying foreign organisms, carrying diseases, and also removing from that area strange organisms and disease-carrying organisms that they will now carry back to the community, because you would have dogs, you would have cats, you would have other animals that will roam in that area. So you're not only having a site that is now a cesspool of unknown material, much of which could be toxic and infectious, but you also have animals that will leave the community to go into that area and carry back organic material to their homes, to their surroundings, and so on. And so you have, even if you don't see humans going there, Because when I listened to Mr. Conan today, I realized that it's not easy to bear the stench and the flies that were there. But animals will go there and go back to their homes, go back to their communities, the dogs especially, and they will carry those material back. So even if there is not direct contact with the material there, there is a secondary contact through those animals that will go there. And so what you will find is that at some point you will have an outbreak, be it a mild or small outbreak or a large outbreak of infection secondary to this dump site or a developing dump site that you're seeing there. In addition to that, my understanding is that that area is sandy, and based on my observation when I went there, it's a sandy material there, and so a lot of those toxins can leach into the soil and get down into the underground water system, and also therefore can affect the surrounding communities and persons who consume the water that is tapped from below. And so this is a situation that is really, it's really, the surrounding communities and persons who. So this is a situation that is developing and can end in catastrophe, because my understanding is that persons still go to the Blue Lakes. It's a beautiful site. It's quite a lovely area for recreation, but persons have to pass that way and have to interact with the material.
Dr. Anderson, we go back to Dr. Adams. All that's being said there, lots of people are watching. Conan Marshall has taken some time out. I know I just spontaneously just got him on. But before we get back to Conan, your thoughts again on what's happening there and the conditions under which the people of Linden and surrounding areas have to live.
Well, I'm glad Dr. Anderson laid an excellent perspective as to the impact, not only in the local area where it is, but in the transmissive nature of these contaminants and toxins with rats and animals that would go borrow there and take it to and infect people. And I know that this here is near and dear to Dr. Anderson's heart, and he brought up something that's very important. What he said that today, we don't know what the waste, that there might be needles and those type of things. And I don't know, Conan. Yeah, if you look at that video carefully, Dr. Anderson, there is medical waste in the red bags with the labels on it. So there's waste coming from the hospital, exactly what you were expressing a fear about. So there's this medical waste that is coming there that could be transmitted, and people are Dr. Anderson said he was passing to go to the lake, but that's just a small amount. When you pass the lake and you go around the bend, it's the whole area that is consumed with this.
I actually saw that, Dr. Adams, for at least 3/4 of a mile. Conan, you seem to have gotten so accustomed to the stench coming there, all the flies, rodents. Talk to us a little more, please, sir.
Mark, it's not that I am accustomed, but I have no choice.
Know what I meant by accustomed, because 5 minutes there,
I have no choice. I have no choice at that time, because my passion is to make sure that we conquer this garbage situation by any cost. So sometimes I gotta put myself on. Let me let you know that I've been sick over this garbage a few times. Every time I go around this garbage, I just get sick. Yeah. But I know that I ain't taking tonight, so because I started the program with a word of prayer this morning, and that God to guide me. So this is why I'm well. But when it comes to the you're talking about this waste. Yes, if you notice, I was zooming my camera, especially.
One second. I saw some guys with motorcycles and all these things. Where are they going? Is that where they have to go from one area to the next? What's happening there?
Well, the motorcycles that you pass is another story. I won't discuss that. it's a part. It's a getaway point to lead you to a point. So
Okay,
it's not that there was. It's not that there was. Actually going to the Blue Lake or anything. It was a getaway point from the police, whatever. All right. So
yeah.
yes. So I'm saying to you, the red bags that I was zooming my camera on, yes, there was stuff from the hospital and other places, right? And indeed, there's a lot of animals up there. There's a lot of animals because people around the Caracara area and these areas, the dog do stray and go up to these dump sites. I just want to know myself what these dogs does be eating. But I learned today that the hospital stuff does be dumping right up there also. So, sometimes you get bloody stuff that the dogs is used. Sometimes you get a small baby where they don't want to bury, maybe die, and they want these bags and all these things, you know what I mean? And maybe the dogs just be feeding on them. Because I just want to know why it's so much a Karen Crow and other things, but it could be flesh that are cut off from people and all sort of things just be in these baggage where the dog has gone dismantle and feast and feed on. Right? So it's a very dangerous situation. And I'm hoping that the environmental people take notes and shut the Blue Lake down like tonight. Because I plan to go there at the Blue Lake and tell people not to bathe there no anymore. Because you cannot promoting the dump site as a area where you could come in and people could come in as a tourist area, as a tourist site. That's a dump site. It is not a tourist site. So we gotta start speaking with the people them who coming from area. They got a saying that stranger don't know bearing ground. Well, this is exactly what's going on in the tongue of Linden. Strange people come in, get themselves into Blue Lake, all the same water, the toxin going in their mouth, and all of these things, and these people enjoying it. So we gotta start letting these persons know that this water isn't good for swimming or good for do nothing.
Thank you so much, dear Conan, but let me just apologize when I said that you're accustomed to the stench. I meant that you spent a considerable time there today. That's what I meant, please. No disrespect, but let's get back to Dr. Anderson. Dr. Anderson, from what the description there of Conan there, hospital stuff dumped there, again, from the health standpoint, talk to us again how unhealthy this is, please.
Mark, as I listen to Conan, there is a crucial bit of information that I think the public needs to understand. People who are hospitalized are oftentimes treated with antibiotics, and sometimes for long periods of time. And in some instances, they are treated for organisms that are resistant to some antibiotics. Now, when you have medical waste, be it of human tissue or otherwise, that can contain bacteria that are antibiotic resistant, and then those dogs or cats or whatever animals go back home, and they can transmit those infections to people. They might bite someone, and that person goes to the hospital with an infection. That infection is not necessarily an ordinary infection that is easily treatable. That person can become infected with an antibiotic resistant strain of Staphylococcus or some other organism, which is very common in human tissue.
So from a medical standpoint, break down that word
these are pathogenic organisms, as in disease causing organisms that infect skin and soft tissue. And they also infect respiratory tract and other places. And they sometimes can become resistant to known antibiotics. So you're looking at a situation there where you can see antibiotic resistance being spread within the community in the situation where those animals carry those organisms. And remember, you have to consider this because it is organic material coming from a hospital setting where treatments would have been administered, no doubt antibiotic treatment as well. And I could see a situation where you can have antibiotic resistant organisms there. But beyond that, we saw flies there. And these animals can transmit salmonella, shigella, cholera, typhoid fever, and other gastroenterological conditions. As in, when stuff gets into the GI tract, because your dog poops on the ground or he comes and licks you, and you may not be so hygienically aware, and you can get that stuff into you. And so a lot of really bad organisms can be spread in that area, and persons can come down with lots of GI illness, diarrhea, vomiting, and so forth, secondary to bacterial contamination. So we have to be careful. We can't trivialize this because it is a very serious problem.
Absolutely. Doc Adams, before we go back to Conan Marshall, what message would you like to send to the relevant authority, the inept, the corrupt relevant authority, central government?
Well, I don't want to send a message to them because we know exactly how they behave. But I want to send a message to the people. And the people, again, and we talked about this just the other night that I was on with you, the people need to stand up. We don't need one or two people like Conan or Theo or yourself and the few. The people of Linden and all of the country, for that matter, need to stand up and hold this government accountable. They need to let them understand that this is unacceptable. And unless they raise their voices, they're not going to do anything. You know, we can spend a whole lot of time telling them or sending them a message, but the only message we can send is to the people to hold them accountable. And this government, as we can say, they have no interest in the health, safety, and environment of not only Linden, but the rest of the nation. We know that, regardless of what we say. So the people, the message is to the people that they need to hold this government and and to pressure their local officials and their representatives in parliament to put pressure on the government.
Conan, thank you so much, Dr. Adams. Conan, and for those of you who are now joining us, this is a situation that has came to light. Compliments of Conan Marshall, who was there on the ground, and he went through what he had to highlight this situation here and to let you guys know that it's an unhealthy situation in Linden right now at this garbage dump site. Conan, as you were there today, what were some of the sentiments being expressed by residents, one? And second, in the surrounding area close to this garbage dump site, what about the stench? What about when they burn this garbage and so forth? Where the smoke?
Well, Mark, I was just coming to talk about that. Now, listen this. There's a serious situation with the residents, especially in the Amelia's Ward area and the Karakara area, and even the Nikadak area. Sometimes the people in Karakara want to know where these flies appear from. The people over in South Amelia's Ward, just want to know where these flies come from. Well, this is breaking news. Now we got some people who lives in the dump. I don't know if you know that last year, one of the guys who I was speaking with were living in the dump site. He died.
Wait a minute, because there's a trench, I believe, that's dividing this dump site over into another community, correct?
Yes, there's a creek there. Yes.
So you're saying that people actually live in that dump site?
Yes, people live in the dump site. Yes. Wow. I do about 3 lives with a guy who live in the dump site.
Continue, sir. Yeah.
But he died. I know the dump site. He can't survive in there for long.
So
right now, here's the situation. The same guy that live in the dump site and the people who normally equip themselves every morning to go to the dump site to search that dump for any new thing coming any new metal and all of these things there, that when a dump during the day, we got people right there who just equip themselves. They just come in the morning early, like they're going to a 9 to 5 job. It's a job where they're getting copper and all sorts of things from the dump heap. Now, forget the copper and other metal from the dump heap, you do have to burn it. So when they light up the big fire, because a lot of people just want to know, it's where the smoke and this thing coming from. But when they watch, if you're down the road, you can look like it's coming from the ward. But it's not the ward, it's coming right from the dump heap. So, you know, flies don't like fire, flies don't like smoke. Even the carrying crows and everybody just bail out from the dump heap and fly down to the areas that people live, like Karakara and these areas. So when the people in Karakara seen a swarm of flies just appear, they said, oh God, like the rainy season coming in. It's not the rainy season. It's the smoke and the fire that chase the flies down to your area. Now, Doc was saying just now about transferring disease from a point to another point. And this is one of the things that I agree with you, Doc, that sometime down the line, the people in Karakara behind the ward, a disease going to break out, and we're going to ask him, where does disease come from? Because there's a lot of people there, even to the same people amongst Karakara area, do go up to the dump site for look for pumpkin and these kind of things, for the pigs, maybe there's utilize some, and all of these things. So it's a serious situation where, though, that place needs to be cordoned off and stop persons from going there, stop people from dumping there. It's high time I think they should move. If you want to make there a tourist area, you need to move people now. You need to stop the garbage from dumping there, because I wouldn't even put area as no tourist area anymore, because the amount of waste that already dumped there is everything straining through filtering and you know, and it's not, it's a solid sand. There's a make ill. Well, constantly when the bauxite plant was functional, they used a guy up there with thunder pole. That time I was a small boy. It's a thunder pole and scraper, we become belly dumper. It's what build the hill, right? So it's a make hill. So anything was strained through it as fast as possible, forget another area. So it wouldn't be so filtered that people could swim and enjoy it. You're gonna get other things coming through with it, because the whole area is a dump site area.
You know,
so we need to look into it very seriously. Yeah.
Thank you again, Conan. But let's get back to Dr. Anderson now. Cancer and all these different things, respiratory problems, especially for elderly, especially for babies and so forth. Talk to us a little bit about that, so that you can put residents in the area on their guard, so to speak. Dr. Anderson?
Yes, Mark. You know, the creek that runs at the backside of the Blue Lake,
yes,
is pretty close to the dump site. And in fact, I have been in that creek in a kayak, of course, not in the water, but of course you're interacting with the water. Yeah. And so now that you have more garbage there, it has become an even more dangerous situation. But to your question, the thing with cancer is that interaction with toxic material can affect our genetics. It can cause gene breaks, it can cause disjunctions, it can cause translocation of genes over time, so that you can see the manifestation of genetic disorders in the next generation, maybe. Women who might be interacting with those that the chemicals and so forth in that environment through the water, through their partners who may go to the dump site and bring back material on their footwear and not necessarily cleaning up, but walking up the step, going on the mats, cleaning off their boot there, and the children walking there, and this type of things. You can find that the women who are now getting pregnant and may have interacted with material could very well suffer, and we could very well see diseases that are new to that environment of a genetic nature. You mentioned cancers, and cancers really are uncontrolled growth of cells which do not serve any particular purpose. And so, in many cases, they have a mass effect, but in other cases, they produce substances that cause secondary issues for persons. Okay, and therefore, you mentioned cancers as a disease process, and it's within the realm of possibility that once the right conditions exist, persons can develop any condition, including cancer, based on the exposure factor, because you're talking about the environmental effect, which include toxins and other things, onto your genetic material. And that certainly can influence the people in that neighborhood and in the wider community. So it's certainly you're right on the ball there, Mark.
You know, Dr. Adams, as an environmentalist, EPA expert, you've had decades of experience. What specific plans you guys had different than this corrupt, inept PPP regime as it pertains to dump sites? Not just dump site there in Linden, but the dump site on the Liripentir Cemetery that has been there for years, and other dump sites. The botch you've mentioned is one out in the heart of Eccles as well. What plans you guys, or how different you guys handle it under the coalition government, of which you played a role for at least 2 years?
Well, let me correct you a little bit there, a little bit of nuance. We had a plan. The PPP never had a plan, so it's not a comparison of two plans.
Gotcha.
So we had a plan, which is to, like I said before, which is to get rid of all of these dump sites and build properly engineered, safe, state-of-the-science dump sites that are universally built in other countries in a safe and environmentally sound manner. And so if you get to the solution of this, Mark, the only solution to this here is obviously to locate a proper site in Linden, obviously, because you must have a garbage disposal site. To locate a proper site, not for the government people to go and locate the site, because somebody may have a piece of land, their friends or families may have a piece of land that they want to make money and pay rent to them. To get a proper engineering team to go and find the right site for the location of a landfill, build a proper engineered landfill, and clean up the site. Because, and it's not, to clean this up is not just going to be removing the garbage, because like we mentioned several times before, it sits on very porous material, which is sand. And that sand, when rain falls, that water not only runs off that we see on the surface, it seeps through the soil, and believe it or not, it gets into not only the groundwater where we have wells extracting water for drinking purposes, but the groundwater is connected to all surface water, including the creeks. It's one connected system. So it seeps through, gets into the groundwater where the wells are, but then also seeps into that creek that is nearby. And that creek obviously runs into the river. So it's not only, so all of that has to be cleaned up. And that takes time, as a matter of fact, to clean up what's in the groundwater. But for right now, that's the only thing that we should be doing and pushing for, is for a carefully selected site to build a properly designed landfill and to clean up this site and move on. There's no other solution. Nope. Don't let the politicians come and shoot a lot of BS, because that's the only solution to this. And that's we need to be pressuring them to do.
And I can just, we all can just imagine the health hazard, the unhealthy situation there with individuals walking around Linden and other parts of that area, other parts of that region. They've become contaminated with some sort of illness or the other that we're not seeing the signs of it right now.
And Mark, let me quickly mention here, Mark. Let me quickly
go ahead.
Here's an opportunity. They like infrastructure. Here's an opportunity. They spent in the last year's budget, 60% of the money went into infrastructure filling their friends and families' pockets. Take a small amount of that and do exactly what we're talking about. Build this newly designed landfill, and it's infrastructure work, but at the same time, it's a health, safety, and protection of the environment type of work.
They're not going to do that, Dr. Adams. They're not going to do that. Priya Manikchan wants to walk around Georgetown, Border Market, Stabrook Market, cook a pot to cook up, eat, enjoy herself, take some photograph. That's the sort of silly politics there. They're not dealing with real issues that affecting the people. Now we see that carrion crow. That's a big bird. For those of you who don't know carrion crow, Conan, what are some of the things that in that dump site? And I've noticed some people, they are concerned about your safety in terms of health wise. Maybe you should start wearing a mask and so forth. I've seen some comment. But Conan, what are some of the items dumped there, man? Talk to us. That carrion crow is there.
Well, Mark, let me be honest with you. The dump site is a very stink place. When I say stink, it stink because fish, chicken, cow, wherever they get, maybe human being all, I feel is be dumping right there. And that is why this dump site attracting a lot of carrion crow. But let me give you a quick history about that area. Now, you see the Blue Lake Pond? It was always a pond. It was always a lake, right? I'm one of the persons who work with Boscalis, and they go to the lake and turn it to Blue Lake now. It was a pond where we used to go and catch fish and all of these things there. Now, the said dump site that they have, what are pushing down this rubbish, and I think I can go and show you all exactly what I'm talking about. They get a stream of water running right at the bottom. What are pushing this rubbish? They get a stream of water running through a cocoa, running through, seeping through the earth, and throw right inside to the Blue Lake. Right? People don't know though, but I can show you all. I can go down there tomorrow and I can show you how what's going on. Now, the Blue Lake water, as I tell you, was always a lake. Lead out to the Caracara Creek. Why you feel the Blue Lake would never dry out? Why you feel it always maintain the height? Because there's water straining through the earth from the dump site, coming right into the lake and throwing it out straight into the Caracara Creek, where you have these same persons from the Caracara area, Spikeland area, where they got a little churn bathing day and night. Some people drinking the same water. Some people washing and cooking with the same water, because in Spikeland area, you don't get pipe. Over the creek, you don't have a pipe. It's the other day they get lights. So the people consuming that same water for the livelihood, for daily living, and these are the kind of things that worries me. So it's a terrible man, Lodge. Mark, I there, man. I there, brother. Honestly, I just fed up with these people.
All right.
Because, I fed up, man.
Yeah. Thank you, Conan. Before, as we prepare to wrap up, what message Dr. John Anderson, who is joining us from Guyana, he's a medical doctor. And we know it's after 10 in Guyana. After 10, of course, where Conan is, where Dr. Anderson is as well. What message do you have for the people again, and safety-wise? Dr. Anderson?
So, Mark, my teachings over the years, both medical and non-medical, is that prevention is better than cure.
True.
Prevention is what primary medicine, primary health care provides for. And in common sense terms, prevention is the application of knowledge in such a manner that you avoid situations that are potentially harmful. And so from a medical standpoint, I would say to the people who live in the environs, avoid contact with that dump site because of the risk for both infectious diseases toxic exposures with the consequent potential for permanent genetic and other types of injury. And from a common sense perspective, if you know that you live in the hilly stand and clay region where everything seeps through the earth, more or less, then you would want to avoid those waterways that even if there is a suspicion, and in this case, we see actual garbage. This is not an invention. This is what we're seeing. And we're also seeing medical waste being dumped in that area based on Conan's video and his testimony tonight.
Yes.
Then you would want to avoid consuming the water and having contact really until such testing is done to clear that water and of course the removal of the garbage from that area. So that would be my advice to the residents who live in that area.
Thank you, Dr. John Anderson, there for us, giving you that advice, medical health advice. Dr. Adams, Vincent Adams, Linden has never been treated this way. I recall Linden as a little boy. I'm a product of Linden. Linden has never been as filthy as it is today. Linden has never been as neglected as it is today, as beautiful. Your closing remarks, please, sir.
Well, absolutely not. We were never rich, but we never even knew that we were never rich, because we were treated with respect. And as you recall, in the good old days, Linden used to carry the nation with its bauxite. And now, but these folks don't. Most of those folks don't even know that and don't know their history. But the serious question that this government needs to answer is, why did they abandon the coalition plan to fix these, to build new, specifically engineered, well-engineered landfills throughout the country, including this Linden landfill? What have they done with the plan that was put in place by the EPA and the local government, in collaboration with the local government ministry? Why did they abandon this plan, like everything else that they've done? So that's the question that they need to answer. Why did they abandon this plan? 6 years now since they've been in office, and it's just getting worse.
You know, they've abandoned this plan just like they've abandoned all the other plans. The Skeleton Sugar Factory, 200 million wasted. A mile of falls, hundreds of millions of taxpayers' dollars wasted. The fiber optic cable that destroyed the Linden-Soos-Dyke Highway there, wasted, all as a result of a corrupt and incompetent vagabonds running the PPP regime. Conan Marshall, you have the final words for tonight. I know you're preparing for a hot show tomorrow morning, because one of the things with Conan Marshall is that he's on the ground. He brings it live and direct. And when I saw this morning, it broke my heart, actually, to see that people are living under these conditions, just like what happened a few years ago with what they call the Mandela dump site. It was horrible. Conan, I noticed that there is an ad about the water system, and it is shut down as well. Talk to us in your closing remarks, sir.
The water system. Which water system, Mark?
I saw there's a message from GWI in Linden.
No, I didn't check up on it. I was, today I was very busy, right? Yeah, I was very busy today. But what I want to say to you is
go ahead, sir.
Yeah,
go ahead.
What I want to say to you is that a few months I was talking about forming a committee for that particular area, and the committee would have tried to implement systems, put things in place that when you come in with your garbage, you would be able to dump it in the right place. It could have worked, but you up there on the dike, you don't have people who controlling nothing. You don't have a system, you don't have a committee. So people come and dump anyway, close as possible to the Blue Lake. But if, they need to put things in place. If they're going to continue dumping garbage up there need a committee. The old Blue Lake in the committee, where you come in with your garbage, you understand what I mean? You got people for direct you, show you exactly where to dump it. The committee would have a machine also that after, when the day finish, you could push this garbage to the right area and don't get this garbage building up. If the waste from the hospital do come, you understand what I mean? And you push it to the direct place, providing that you close off the Blue Lake because the same dump water still straining. And if you want, the Blue Lake to be a tourist site area, you need to close off either. You need to close off the Blue Lake if you want the dump site. If you want the Blue Lake, close off the dump site. Either. And it would work. So I think a committee, if they form a committee for that particular area, I think it would be a good thing. So the committee can decide if the dump or the tourist site more important. That's all I have to say tonight to you, brother. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you.
Yeah, Conan, Marshall, thank you so much. And again, thanks for what you do in bringing these things live and direct, giving people an understanding as to what's happening there on the ground in Guyana. Again, thank you so much. And I know you have a busy day tomorrow. Thanks again. All the best. And to our listeners as well, we thank you all so much. And also our doctors, Anderson and Adams. Thank you both as well. One of the things that I want to say as we prepare to say goodbye for tonight is that, and Conan mentioned forming a committee and so forth and so on. It's all good, but going back to what Dr. Adams said, from a modern day standpoint, you need stuff like this, an incinerator that would be able to do the job, and so that people wouldn't have to worry about this health risk and all manner of different things. And you need a regime that can address these issues. The current government, the current regime right now cannot address these issues at all. And I'm glad that Dr. Adams actually said that the coalition government had this in mind, how to protect the community, how to protect citizens within the community. And again, it's unfortunate that the corrupt PPP regime doesn't care about these things at all. We saw it, we know it, it's evident. So let's not continue to fool ourselves that the PPP cares about you, the citizens of Guyana. They do not care. All right, got a message from Dr. Terence Campbell and said that the leadership of APNO on the ground in Linden are definitely concerned. They are concerned about the situation. The situation was addressed. The PPP regime is as dead as it is. But hopefully those guys in APNO and so forth will be speaking out more on this matter. But for now, my name is Mark Benchap. I'll be back Monday, same place, same time. Wayne Caesar is going to be back tomorrow with his Over to You and whatever subject matter he has in mind. I'm sure this will be also part of his discussion. But for now, I'm out of here. God bless you, and continue to pray for that beautiful country. And hopefully very soon, it will be out of the hands of a corrupt, inept PPP regime. God bless you all. Take care.
Y'all share the life. Oh, Asim. Oh, y'all up on the life. All right, good. Talk to door. Y'all watching the live. Watching the live. Are they live? Are they live? Y'all look at the live.
All right.
Good. Are they live? Y'all look at the live. Now, let me tell y'all something, people. You could imagine this is Blue Lake. I want y'all to see, because I tell y'all this year, I'm going to take a serious approach. This is at the dump site of Linden. This is what part Blue Lake there. Watch Blue Lake there right there. And this is the dump site. Y'all share the life and watch. Now this is the entrance. Y'all remember the hut? Where we just turn in? This is the entrance to the Blue Lake. This is what going back down where come from. Straight down, come to the hill, full. So the truck only got a fine pathway for pass. What this dump site? Y'all watch. We cannot go in by the dump site anymore. Going down now to the another Blue Lake. Watch. I want y'all see. Cause I want y'all say that the highlighter only sprang in and only talking. I want y'all see where we got for reach up with, where we got for put up with in the tongue of Linden, right? Watch it. We got these same environmental people who working with the council. Them will come in and see this here. Y'all watch. We taking a walk. No, we can't go in by we can't go in there no more. Watch. I tell you, I got that spitting all the time because it's poor fly and carrying crow here, right? This why I just got sick. Guys got choked me belly. Just forget things right. Watch. Watch. This is pure garbage. Y'all share this life. And then y'all telling me, oh, scunt. Like I got there before I come out here. Fly. Yeah. Yes. And y'all telling me I must sit down in a tongue watching all of these junk, rubbish, and all of these things going on in we tongue. Watch. I want y'all watch. I walk in, I want y'all see. This is going on by the first place where we used to there. Watch. This is on the main road. This is not in the rubbish heap. This is on the main road. Y'all watch. Oh boy. Oh. Oh. Y'all seeing? Watch Karen Crow, watch. We got a lot of pigeon flying. Some black pigeon. Why me ever go no more, boy? Me ever go no more. Fly like it want fly in my mouth. You seeing? Y'all seeing? This is on the main road. This is on the main road. Tell me who on hurt. Tell me who on hurt. Tell me who on hurt. Who concerned resident? Who tidy person living in the tongue of Linden? Right? Gonna live in such a mess. Why this thing got fixed, by? This problem I got fixed. I gotta move from here. This problem got to fix.
I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public base, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fear in the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment. And you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows. One set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup. Look how evil set up.
here and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su. My relation.